Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin to round out the day here, kind of get you a summary of what happened earlier today, but also kind of discuss some important factors here that have kind of shaped up since then. So if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, comment below. You've been watching for a while. Thank you for always hitting that like button. Let's get as many likes as we can on this video here, of course, as per usual. Appreciate that, and just thanks again for being an amazing part of my life. When we take a look at Bitcoin, we're going to start with the liquidation date on the back end here, kind of see what's going on. Liquidation is very helpful to recognize, key areas of either retracement or continuation. We look at the 12-hour here, we can see we're kind of in the middle of a pretty significant gap. And the reason why is because Bitcoin has been sporadically wiping out longs and shorts with these pretty massive candle wicks. I mean, they're not crazy, but they're about 3 to 4% pumps and dumps just every few hours. So it's been honestly pretty ridiculous to try to trade this coin here today. It's hard to find a perfect entry, so just know there is no such thing at this point with this kind of trading conditions. Let's look at the last 7 days, though. I'm kind of curious about this. See if there's any obvious levels. If I recall correctly, there was a lot more to the upside. We saw some of those get swept earlier today at about 92, what is that, 92.7. So we can see there's still a lot of liquidation on the upside here, upwards about 94 to 95K. All right, so that's a pretty big chunk. We look at the downside, of course, there's some left, but not as much. So it just kind of tells us that there's more incentive to push the price action higher. Would make sense for us to see an all-time high this week. That's kind of what I'm leaning more towards. We actually have a long position open with Bitcoin right now that is currently in the green. But just keep in mind, it's been a pretty funky market here, and there's no other way around it. This is just kind of weird, sporadic behavior for Bitcoin and a lot of other coins too. We can see liquidation deltas kind of starting to stabilize and balance out. I think this is not loading very correctly, so I'll figure that out later. But the truth is, earlier today, if I recall correctly, there was more shorts than longs in the market for Bitcoin. And that's essentially what we're looking at here. So I don't think that's changed too much as we keep getting this, this wash or this rinse of any high leverage shorts versus long. So not a good trading conditions to try to play your cards like that. Okay, so let me go and remove these here, this little play out from earlier. As we can see, the price did not hold this 91.5 range. That is a support and resistance level for us. But just know that the general consensus is that we have a lot of support between 89.7 and roughly 91.5. So kind of just this range in here, pretty large support range. And unfortunately, it's just kind of the range is what it is, right? The Bitcoin has been ranging pretty aggressively, and it doesn't really have an established trend, minus the overall uptrend, right? You got to keep in mind that's still present, still respecting the trend lines, and everything's looking pretty good in the overall sense. So from a macro perspective, there's nothing to see here. We're dramatically above all moving averages. We got some fair value gap below us. There's also a CME gap between 78 and 81.5 or 80.5K, and that kind of goes closer to this lower fair value gap. So if we end up losing 86.7 as that last line of support, there's a decent chance we may see, a continuation of the 80K range as a rough estimate. That's complete worst case scenario. Bitcoin has to lose 90K first, and that seems to be a pretty strong support, not just throughout the weekend, but so far today. So 90K, easy round number to remember. That's kind of the support level for us. There's nothing to note here except money flow index being super high. That's really a positive contributing factor. Overextended, yes, but price maintaining itself as long as we're still over 70 in the RSI. Keep in mind, we drop below 70 in the RSI on the daily. It's not going to make a world of difference. It'll just tell us that, hey, maybe you should consider securing profits on a longer term hold, if you will, that essentially, the price may turn around, right? If we spend too long in this range, we could pull back. But the truth is, even though we did pull back pretty aggressive to this 86.7 mark, we've been making some nice higher highs and higher lows leading into that. So things are still looking pretty solid. We're over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is increasing. Stochastic's trying to swing up. There's a large handful of reasons why trading on the right side of tracks right now makes more sense. So you're going to find more success taking a long versus a short, even though this is very choppy price action. So folks, again, this is not really ideal trading conditions, my personal opinion, just based on my trading strategy and just how I prefer to utilize risk tolerance. It's not the most ideal. But the truth is, for low leverage positions or spot bags, you're going to find much more success because you're not getting stopped out every few minutes, right? So 4-hour time frame in summaries looking pretty solid here. When we take a look at the hourly, let's see if this has changed at all. We're still above the cloud by the looks of it, which we are. It's generally a favorable sign. And then the lag in spans free and clear conversion lines of the baseline, these are still positive contributing factors. Okay. So again, albeit super choppy and just a complete ripsaw, yeah, this is nonsensical trading. I mean, range bound, yes, but just ripping people apart, honestly. Any leverage over like 10x is just getting hammered on every one of these wicks. So anyways, just be careful and be mindful of that. If you like, donating money to exchanges, then keep using high leverage. Because again, people online that are posting their amazing results with high leverage, they're not sharing with you how many attempts it took to get there. Okay, please recognize high leverage is a zero-sum game, or that's probably not the right term. It's basically just it's a lose-lose in most cases. You're going to win occasional ones, but you're going to lose more often than not, and it just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, friendly advice. Hopefully you can understand that and recognize I just looking out for your best interest. Another thing to recognize too, this is extremely beneficial too. We've been getting awesome feedback from our community members who are loving this exchange. Highly recommend you trade with Bitunix. Link down below. CryptoCash.tech too if you want to become part of our trading academy community or signals group. But speaking to this here, this prize pool is 60K, going to be spread out amongst the top 20 traders. So number one's getting a good 12K chunk, 9K, 6K. So it's nice little benefits there. Be sure to check that out. Link down below for that. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again. I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord shortly. That'll be available for you. And look forward to seeing you in the next one. I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one. Thanks again for your time. Bye-bye.